Look at his face.
Welcome back to Tennessee Valley. This morning, as promised, we are joined by Kim Centers, and Kim has brought for us today three cute, beautiful, little puppies, as you can see here. Kim, first of all, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for bringing
Good
these
morning.
beautiful
And
dogs.
she's got babies.
Tell us about these babies.
They are 6 weeks old. Basically, I didn't have time. I was kind of in a rush. But they are for adoption. They are all up for adoption, and they are Maltese mix, so they're not going to be very big at all.
Right.
A friend of mine had them, needed to get rid of them, so they are.
Here we are this morning,
But
and
they've
they are
been
adorable.
taken care of, obviously, in the
Yes.
6 weeks, so it's not like somebody dumped them off
You
somewhere.
can't see on my
They're very
black
well
pants.
groomed and taken care of, and very, very docile, beautiful
And if you could
puppies.
see the face on this one right here, I mean, it's got the brown little eyebrows and the brown little paws. Well, actually, more of a champagne color. And then the little face, and I mean, you could kiss it
Kissable.
very hard. You could kiss it.
Now, you said Maltese?
Yes, they're Maltese mix.
So they're not going to get very big. Probably what, 7, 8 pounds, maybe,
Yes,
maybe less.
Mama weighs about 7 pounds.
7?
If that.
Wow.
And they're furry little critters. They are furry, and so they're going to have some grooming as they get older. But they are just precious. They are 6 weeks old, and so they are just about
They're ready.
to go for forever homes. And they would make really good pets. This is something that you're not going to have to do a lot of exercise with. I mean, they're going to be more of a lap dog and more, of your buddy. They'll love to ride in the car. You're not going to have to make sure you walk it, although it is going to need to be played with, of course, especially in those early years.
Now, Kim, what do we have here? Do we have like 3 girls, 3 males,
No,
male?
we got 2 boys. This
Okay.
one and this one is a little
And
boy.
that's a little
and
girl.
this is baby girl.
Now, let me ask you this question. I've been meaning to ask. Do you deal a lot with puppies and all cats? Do you find it that the female of the species is easier maybe to train than the males, or is that just a misnomer? Does it matter?
Honestly, I really don't know.
But she works with the small, and she works more with the ferrets.
Right,
Last
right,
time
right,
Kim
right,
was
right.
here, she was here with the
With
ferrets.
ferret.
And she works at Petco, and she has the small animals to where Julie she's
Okay.
the dog trainer with that.
What about in ferret life? A male ferret, a female ferret. Which one is easier?
They're leader
No.
trained.
Males are easy.
Are they easier?
They are easier.
They just stink more.
Oh, well,
okay.
that's that, because
That's their
they're wanting to smell.
attraction.
That's right. They're wanting to smell good. But and I think the key they say anyway, from what I've heard, is if you neuter a male soon enough, if you don't let him actually go into that what a human would call, I guess, puberty or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
If you neuter him early enough, which is required with all of the Petco and the Pals animals, is that that they're a little bit easier to train, and they would still even squat instead of We had a male dog when I was a kid, and I mean, he couldn't walk by anything without saying, "It's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine." But we didn't know back then. That was back in the '70s that it was best to neuter or spay. There wasn't the big campaign that it is now. But that really is a great campaign that is going on.
It really is.
And it's necessary by just
We
right
wouldn't
here.
have these. We would not have these.
Now, will those 3 be up for adoption this Saturday?
It's the first weekend in February.
Okay, so we got another week or so. Okay.
Okay.
But
And then they'll be up there.
You can call me.
Yes.
Giving y'all my number.
Okay,
So-
she's got the phone number up on the screen. Jennifer has put that up for these guys because these are beautiful little puppies. They're
they
ready
are.
for forever homes, and they are absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you could
Very
if you're
calm.
looking right. I mean, they are very good. They're very good. They're not chewing. I mean, I've had several Wednesdays. The old cord, the mic cord here has been a process to get away from them because they've been chewing on it. But this little guy is just as calm as he can be, and he's just as sweet as he can be. And this, to me, the little black one is the cutest because of the different markings on the face, because you can see the definite color difference. But they're just as cute as they. I mean, is there an ugly puppy? Is there really
That's
an
true.
ugly puppy?
I mean, there are some ugly babies.
Yes, there are some ugly babies.
So you gotta think maybe
I've
there's
seen
a
your
couple.
Pictures.
Kim, now don't
I'm
try.
just
That
kidding.
wasn't even.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, that was
You
so
would
uncalled
think you-
for.
I know it was. Don't
We're here
so-
talking about puppies
I
and
know,
babies.
and you were an adorable
I
baby.
was an adorable baby. Thank you very
Yes, you
much. Just
were.
ask my mom.
I know you were. And the kerchiefs in his elementary
That was a
days.
different time, different day. Now we're talking about these
We're
cute
special.
puppies because they are very cute. Whether some aren't, they are.
Right, all puppies are cute.
And they're very calm, and they have puppy breath, which is a plus when you get one. So we figure they'll be about 7 pounds, which is not very big. Now let me ask you this too. Is it true, and this is more for my son, hopefully he's watching, but puppies need to stay with a puppy food for at least 6 months or a year, don't they, before they go to adult food?
Depending on what kind of dog it is.
Okay.
Like an English bulldog, they need to be on an adult food rather early.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Because of their weight management.
Right, they grow so
are,
quickly.
yes.
They go from little bitty things to, big
Yes.
dogs. Smaller breeds, they don't have that much growing to do and much bones to support.
Right, and they can be on a puppy food for 12 months.
Right.
Okay.
However, like some of the bigger breeds need to be on it for at least 18
Well, then maybe
months.
Oh,
maybe
wow.
it's good that he's eating
Like,
adult food now.
Yes.
Because what they have, it's a boxer pit mix, we think, so that he should probably be, or she should be eating adult food now.
Puppy food.
Puppy
Puppy
food
food.
now until probably, 6
18
months? 18 months? All the way up to 18
18
months.
weeks.
Oh, 18 months, I'm sorry.
Wow,
She
really?
was right.
A year and a half?
Yes, a year and a half.
Okay.
And
Okay,
that's
now,
just
why
to
is that?
support because they've got a bigger mass
Yes,
to
their
support.
bones grow like so fast that they'll outgrow their skin and they look kind of thin and lanky. That's why you get that thin and lanky.
Okay.
That lanky look, so you need that support of that extra
Okay.
nutrition.
See, we need to
And,
tell him that if he's not watching.
Like a large breed puppy actually should be on a growth regulated food.
Okay. Yeah,
to
there's
help
several of those
Slow
I've
it down a
seen.
little bit.
Now we found out in the past corn is bad for dogs because of their skin and that kind of thing. What kind of puppy food would be best for a dog that you need to keep on for about a year and a half?
Depends on
What you guys have
course,
at,
the
at
breed.
Petco, obviously.
Actually, like we have several different puppy foods.
Right.
The Dick Van Patten's Natural Balance
Yes.
is an awesome food for a puppy or an adult, and you can feed. That's one food that's not really specifically for a life stage.
Okay.
Okay.
There are several that, like the Blue Buffalo,
Yes.
that have the different life stages, and it's a holistic as well as an all-natural food, which
Right.
means it's certified that way.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So it's really good. I'd honestly like Halo is a wonderful food.
Food.
As far as that one goes, though, it's a really rich food. So
Right.
if they're on a lower quality food, you need to take a little bit of time to adjust.
Right, and to mix it. We've talked about that with Julie before because when you go from the and you'll see even that on television now that the people that the big dog companies that spend all the money, the quality's not there if you actually read the labels like you do people food. But if you switch one from one of those grade of foods to one of these higher protein, and you're going to have digestive issues.
Goes right through them.
Right, it goes right through them. And so you want to, either mix it, either bite the bullet and just do it and go through the
Yeah.
week of difficulties, or you can mix it, a little bit until you go to full strength is what, we've been told. But these
Now-
guys are adorable.
Now, another thing for folks that have puppies, isn't it good to keep them on an eating regimen? Like you put the food down to eat here, and then you take it up. You don't leave it, and then you put it back down again. But you leave water all the time.
Yes.
Okay.
It's called free feeding when you leave it down all the time.
Right.
And basically, a puppy this age should have a 3 meal a day, basically.
Okay.
When you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
That way, you can actually time when they're gonna have
It's
to
the
go.
go, and that you can
Helps
train them.
with potty training.
Yes.
Wonderful for potty training.
Yes, you
Right.
can't hardly do it without doing that. That's what I have found, that you have to put them on that schedule, because if not, if you're not home, if you're at home all day, then you can kind of, watch and be around. But if you're not home, it's almost impossible to
Exactly.
potty train them if you're not doing those three meals a day.
Now, Kim, if somebody's watching right now and they would love to talk to you about one of these 3 beautiful puppies, what number would they call? What would they need to do?
You can call me at 331-2121 and just ask me, say hey.
How about a puppy?
How about a puppy?
Yeah, how about a puppy? Well, Kim, thank you for coming
Thank
to
you
be with
so
us
much.
today.
You're
And this
welcome.
little guy is just adorable. I'm telling you, I haven't
They are
seen
cute.
something this cute in a long time, besides Joe, of course. Joe, I mean,
Now she's
he's
going
the
with
cutest
that.
thing I've ever
Went from
seen.
I was an ugly baby to now I'm
Well,
cute.
honey, I mean, ugly babies turn into handsome
Oh, yeah,
men.
yeah.
Is that it?
Star Wars.
Yes, they do. They are. They are.
Yeah,
little-
that's true. Little Ewoks.
Yes. So if you want an Ewok for your own, get in touch with Kim, and she will get you in touch with these beautiful little babies. They are adorable.
And the number
they
again
need
is
the form.
331-2121?
It's there on your screen.
Give her a call. Those are beautiful. And thank you so much, Kim,
Thank
for
you for
bringing them
bringing
by.
them.
You're welcome.
And I think you'll be back next week with some more? Okay,
Yeah,
terrific.
she'll be back next
Terrific.
week. Julie is going to go skiing in Virginia. So.
Right.
Told her to like it.
That's
I know,
right. That's
I know.
right. Well, we appreciate you coming by and letting us see these little puppies.
Thanks
And
for
again,
having me.
the first Saturday in February, Petco, these dogs will be there if somebody hasn't called her
And
before
every
then.
Saturday they are
And
there.
then every Saturday
every
there.
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday and third Saturday.
And it's from 11 to 4?
Okay, first and third.
11 to 4. Okay.
Right. All right.
All right. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to be back with Ron Moore and some history about Bradley County, Cleveland coming your way in just a few. Stay tuned. More of Tennessee Valley this morning right after this.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television, Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
I'm Wes Robbins with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. When it comes to employee benefits, we've got you covered. Call me today for the best service and best solutions to your group health and employee benefits needs. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
Welcome back, Tennessee Valley this morning. Joe and Kim Palo with you. It is Wednesday. We thank you for joining us. Hope you're having a good morning. Rain in the area, so take your umbrella. We've been saying that for it seems like years.
I know.
This
Every
week,
day it's
this
raining.
week has really flown.
I'm telling
It
you.
really has.
Gone right by.
It
It
seems like only yesterday.
Yeah.
Only yesterday it was Sunday, and
It
today
really does.
Anyway, so we are joined by Ron Moore now, who has stopped by, obviously, as he does each and every Wednesday, to bring some Bradley County history.
But
So-
first, I hear you had to defend me Saturday.
I have defended your honor.
What little is left.
No, on our radio show last Saturday, we talked about the Fields of the Wood, and Reverend Wayne Allen was there, who knew you, and Miss Juanita Cannon, who knew you, and they spoke of you when you were younger and mischievous there
you
at
know
the
that
Fields
was,
of the Wood.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have let us just run
They said-
wild there.
If they could got you off the letters. You were fond of the E's.
Yes, we were.
I don't know what that was.
We were always, well, there was so many of
Oh,
them.
yes.
There was so many of them, but yeah, we used to get in trouble for getting on that.
That was a
but-
great show. Yeah.
That was
Did you
interesting.
find out why it's named Fields of the Wood?
Yes, I do. I can't quote the scripture, but there is a scripture that says something about the fields of the wood, that you shall go out into the world, and so I don't want to quote the Bible. Or anything.
Right.
Of course, Reverend Wayne Allen, boom, just spit right out, and I go, now I know. I'll not be able to repeat it, but it was a beautiful scripture, though. It really was, and of course, somebody asked people why it was there, and that's just where it happened. Just
Nice place, though.
it
Beautiful
is.
place.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Well, so what are we going to talk about today?
We're going to talk about the city schools.
Okay.
Not today. A long time ago.
Long time ago.
Right.
The city school.
Well, it may have been a city
A couple
school.
of schoolhouses.
Well, and I'm going to go back to 1911. We're not going to go back any earlier than that. And Mr. J.N. Stansfield, he decided he would do a scholastic census of the Cleveland school system.
Okay.
I think he's going to count everybody.
Okay.
So basically what that meant, and I'm sure he got hired to do this too. And he found that the city had 2,097 students in 1911, but 226 of those did not live in the city of Cleveland. They lived outside that, but that was okay. I didn't turn my phone off, but
all right.
they'll call us later. Okay, but it was okay that they didn't live in the city because they were zoned for that. You have to remember the city limits would have been extremely small at that time. It wouldn't have been the borders that we know today.
Right.
So most of Bradley County was Bradley County and not the city of Cleveland. Of the 297 students, they found that 294 of them were unable to read and write. Now, it didn't have any statistical data saying it was at all the first graders and second graders, or was that spread across there. So that would have been very interesting. Right. But you have to remember that this is a time without, for the 1800s, that schools was not demanded. And you didn't have to go to school. My grandfather went to high school in his early days, which was a very, very rare thing in the early 1900s, late 1800s, 1900s. So people not reading to write, that was a pretty good number, though, although that represented 14% of all the students in the city of Cleveland. So there was some concern about that. And then in 1913, the darn state of Tennessee got involved in local schools. All across the state, they still do this. These unfunded mandates, we've heard that. They didn't know what that was back then. But that means that they passed a law and we had to pay for it. Mm-hmm. And we still do that today. But basically they said that now that they required all children between the ages of 8 and 14 to attend school.
Those silly folks.
For at least 80 consecutive days a year.
There you go.
Now, this was a state law in 1911 that you can imagine you didn't have to go to school until you were 8 years old, and you could quit when you was 14. Now there's state laws, if you quit, you can't quit till you're 16, and then if you quit, you can't get your driver's license. So there was a lot
If
of...
you don't go, they take your parents to jail.
Well, that sort of leads me right into what great segue. You see my notes from here? But 80 consecutive days. I think now it's 162 days, what the school year is. They start long before Labor Day. If you'll remember, years ago, they used to actually start school, then stop school for a while so the crops could be picked.
Right.
Oh.
So these were farm people. Even in the city, you had to stop and pick your crops. But Levi Truitt, a very well-known name in this community, in the Truitt Elementary and Truitt Middle School or Junior High or whatever it was, it's now Lake Forest. I still call it Truitt many times. But he was put in charge of the requirement, and he had to prosecute 3 people that first year. Some of them just failed to bring the kids, and some just refused to bring their kids.
Well,
they didn't know dang nabbit government telling them what to do.
that's exactly
Don't
right.
need no education. We've done
Right.
that before now.
This was interesting that now we had to hire more teachers. The teachers had to be there longer. We had to pay them more. We had to hire someone just to administer the rules. And so once again, we were paying more money because the state of Tennessee had got involved in our into our schools. And we still see that today from the national level and the state levels. And they change rules. And but now I'm not saying this was a bad rule because we were an uneducated state in Tennessee. And matter of fact, part of this where we are here today at Cleveland State was funded because Governor, I think it's Buford Ellington, said that he didn't want any student in the state of Tennessee being more than 70 miles away from a higher learning education. That's how come we got Chattanooga State, the first junior college in the state of Tennessee.
Right.
And then all across the state, Walter State and Motlow and all those across there come there. So education is a good thing out there. But it did cost us more money. But we decided we needed another school. So we were going to build a new school over on the east side, and the name of it was going to be
East Side. Where's Grant, U.S. Grant,
right.
Ulysses Grant buried it?
The superintendent at that time, a name that you may recognize, D.C. Arnold,
Oh, there you go.
and the school, of course, named after Arnold.
Right.
They built the East Side School, and it was opened January 26, 1914. It was a 2-story brick building that had a basement. Had 8 classrooms, an auditorium, electric lights, steam heat, and adequate sewage.
Ooh.
Adequate sewage.
All the amenities.
That's right.
When I read
nice
that, and I
one.
said adequate sewage.
Sewage,
You just
right.
didn't say it had sewage, it had adequate
Adequate
sewage.
Right.
sewage.
Now, does that mean just enough or
Or
plenty?
Plenty, right.
Which one does that
Right.
describe to you? I'm not really sure. But they also decided to move and make it some of it high school. Once again, we had to hire more teachers, and of course, there was a $25,000 bond put out to build this new school.
Wow.
You can't build a classroom for $25,000
can't.
anymore.
I know, or equipment.
And so, but $25,000 bond, the city had to go into debt to do this. So school has always cost a lot of money. Now it's a high school. But now that high school lasted from 1914 to 1916 only. It closed in May of 1916.
Okay.
There's something happened in this community that the city said, we just don't need it anymore.
Now, was it in the building it's in now, Arnold? Is that what
No,
we're
no,
talking-
it was the east side. It was over on the east
Right.
side.
Okay.
So-
Yeah.
But these buildings that they were in, were any of them there from the beginning, and these buildings are
Oh,
still
no,
standing?
these are brand new buildings that they built
Okay.
at that time. Oh, yeah, this is brand new. But they decided not to use it, but it continued to be used as a school. But there was this new school that opened up, the big fancy school up here on Norfolk Coy Street called Bradley Central High School.
Okay.
In 1916. It opened
1916.
yeah, it was the September of 1916 was that school. I've got some pictures of the football team from there.
Wow.
Their goalposts were 2x4s tied together with ropes. So it was pretty funny. So
But
now,
they even had football is
Oh, yeah.
amazing with it, that they organized that
And
quickly.
It's
Jimmy
Tennessee, for goodness sakes.
Yes.
Kim.
Jimmy Lovell was playing on the team back in 1916, later become the coach, and of course,
Level
football
Field?
field- Level Field, Bradley High School.
Ah, okay.
So 1916, they had 2 features at this school that was very novel and different.
Okay.
That was happening right here in Bradley County. First one was that all students were transported to and from the school.
They had a
busing.
bus. They had a bus.
It may have been in a pickup truck or in a wagon or something of that nature, but they actually went and picked up the children and took them back home.
That's a good
That was a
thing.
novel thing. Of course, today, could you imagine if we didn't take children? Oh, that's a big cost of our school systems too. And that all the teachers lived in a house provided by the school system right
Wow.
near the school. Now, they have actually tried that system down in the Chattanooga area, in the inner schools areas, inner city areas where it's hard to get teachers to come in to live. They've actually offered them very low financing to come in and buy a house right in the area and live there. And so it helps them move into an area, get housing cheaper. So Bradley County is ahead of the curve here.
I'm telling you.
In 1918, we closed all the schools because we had a flu epidemic at that time.
Okay.
And they did have to start going back, and some of the kids actually went on Sunday and Saturday trying to keep up, really wanted to go to school.
Right.
And they finally got caught back up, got 30 days back in through there. So,
They didn't go to school on Sunday. You just know they didn't. I mean, if they didn't go to Sunday school, they didn't go to
that's
school
right.
on
We didn't
Sunday.
go to the movies, remember, last
Well,
week.
Right.
shoot, I didn't ever
Yeah.
go to the movies.
And of course, at that time, all schools were segregated,
Right.
but we did have a all-black technical school that was built, and of course, College Hill was there. And College Hill lasted all the way up into the late '60s, and of course, it burned, and then they all went to Cleveland High School.
See,
Wow.
now that's what I didn't understand is because I went to school. I was here and I was in schools in the 60s. And in 1974, 73 or 74, I moved to Orlando. And when I went to Orlando, that was the second year of forced segregation, that was going on. But I had gone to school mixed race since I was in elementary school at North Lee. There had never been a separation. And then I went to, when Cleveland Junior High School was built, I moved over there because I was in the 7th grade over at North Lee. But then I came over to Cleveland Junior High because of a friend anyway. But they were always segregated. I don't remember any
The segregation,
integration.
if you go down to the county more, you would find that it was a little bit more, because the black population then, even when you were smaller, and when in this time frame we're talking about, all lived basically there on the east side of town and lived in one community.
Okay.
So it was very rare that you'd see the black community live out in different areas there. And so,
well, I was always so proud of us because I wasn't like Florida.
This was a very laid-back community for racial relations all during this time. You know, although there was some racial problems in the community, but not that much always. It was pretty laid back. And like I say, they started at Cleveland High School when they made the big move over there, which I think is 1968, 67, 68, and then College Hill School had burned, and they actually just moved it over there. So a lot of history to that, and so, but pretty much the history of the school system around here. Just there is just volumes to read about the school systems here, and I just found these little interesting tidbits of things that we would truly recognize today.
When did, and I'm just asking this off the cuff, but when did they formulate the school board and the superintendent? When did that come about?
Very early in there. Like so, D.C. Arnold was one of the early ones, and I can't remember some of the early names, but you would recognize all of them because they basically have had names named after them in the schools.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because you kind of wonder how the education system got started.
You heard Harrell Street, Harl.
Yes.
Right,
Harrell. He was a school board member, and you would see Hardwick's on there and different things across the years. But it's always been a very organized structure like that. And like I say, the state of Tennessee stuck their finger in our pie,
and did it.
And then they separated, because then the city became the city, and then the county became the county, and you got the county school board, you got the city school board, and that just kind of muddied the waters a little bit.
Of course, Bradley County was formed before the city of Cleveland.
Sure.
City of Cleveland come about 7 or 8 years later, I believe it was, if I remember my history, and then just a split. There is some popular down in Georgia. I believe the city of Gainesville closed their city and just give it to the county.
Everybody's the county.
Okay.
Because everybody's in the county anyway.
They're only one form, almost a metro, but they did it. Just saying is that the city services had got so expensive, so they combined a lot of those services, which some people think that's a brilliant idea. I wouldn't say metro government here in this program for anything in the world.
Right.
I wouldn't mention that.
Don't mention it.
Right. We won't mention that again after today.
Metro government.
All right. So, what are we going to have on Old Town Cleveland this Saturday?
I'm very excited about J.T. Lemons, who helped start the whitewater rafting business up in Polk County. We're going to talk about the whitewater rafting.
Oh, that's interesting.
For many years, Kim grew up here, that the Old Coy River did not run along the Old Coy River.
Right.
It ran across the flume line all the time.
Sure did.
Very rarely would you see water come down the river. So most of us didn't realize that there was a Class 4 whitewater river there, and then the flume line had to be closed and repaired, and it was going to take about 1.5 years to do that. During that time, we discovered we had an unbelievable recreational area here, and people like J.T. Lemon helped develop that business, and he'll talk to us about the battles between TVA then and now, and the development and that whole area, which has brought a lot of economy to the Polk County.
Wow.
Not to mention the Olympics.
Yes.
We had the Olympics here, for goodness sakes, because of that.
So we're going to talk about that, and then the week after that, we're going to do Black History. We got Vice Mayor Avery Johnson going to come in and talk about.
He is so interesting.
He is.
He's got a great voice too. He's going to talk about the House of the Happy Feet and great places to eat.
There you go.
And he'll talk about where blacks could and could not eat, and about the black community over there. And I've had him on before, and he's a pretty interesting guy.
He is interesting.
He's been on
Very
the morning
interesting.
show before and brought just boxes of pictures. I mean, you could sit with him for hours and go through. He has a lot of the memorabilia.
Well, I don't think
and
he's going to get to talk. He's bringing his sisters with him.
Oh, there you go. So Avery will be in.
That's right.
He'll sit in the corner.
house, that's right. Avery will be
First time we'll ever
corrected by
see
his sisters.
Avery quiet.
He'll be in the corner. All right, Ron. Thank you so much for
Hey,
coming
enjoyed
by.
it.
And don't forget Ron and Debbie Moore, Whoop Radio 99.9 every Saturday from
10 to
10 to noon. Old Town Cleveland, so you catch him there this Saturday. All right. We're going to be back with more Tennessee Valley this morning. We got Brad Miser on the way in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Kathy Guy with Landmark Insurance Brokerage. Call us today for all your personal insurance needs. With 28 years in the insurance business, I have the solutions and pricing you are looking for. At Landmark Insurance Brokerage, we've got you covered.
Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland, is your #1 Dodge Chrysler and Jeep dealer in this area. Stop by and see the brand new 2011 Chrysler 200. The 200 is essentially a new nameplate with a significant facelift to the outgoing 2010 Chrysler Sebring. A beautiful vehicle at an unbeatable price. And while you're there, check out the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee and the newly designed Dodge Durango. Redesigned, revamped, and reinvigorated. Yes, the Dodge Durango is back, bigger and better than ever. Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep offers a complete parts and service department with qualified service technicians to fix and repair your vehicle. So for your next brand new or pre-owned vehicle, make it Kyle Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located at 511 South Lee Highway in Cleveland.
I'm Dr. James Markham, host of the television program Heart of Health, seen right here on WTNB television. Thursday at 7 o'clock, Friday at 8 a.m., or Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
How would you like to look and feel better? If so, then visit the Ford Center for Anti-Aging, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest. Dr. Ford has been serving Cleveland and the surrounding area since 1984. He is a licensed physician with the Board of Anti-Aging Medicine, offering affordable Botox injections. Botox is a medication that is used to treat dynamic wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. In addition to Botox therapy, rejuvenate and smooth wrinkled skin. The micro laser peel treats skin conditions associated with aging and active lifestyles. If you're looking for safe and affordable anti-aging treatment, call the Ford Center for Anti-Aging at 423-614-0535, located at 2020 Key Street Northwest.
Figure I would be going a little bit. You may have some other things.
We're back.
Boy, that was quick. Jennifer, that was quick. What happened? Was that commercial break over already? We're just sitting here talking, as you can see, obviously with Brad Miser, who is of East-West Billboards here in town. You've seen them all over town. I know you have.
And you can tell which ones they are. They've got those little bitty on the bottom of them.
Well, it gives it away when it says East-West.
But they're on the bottom on the little thing
Yeah.
to where you know which ones are Brad's.
Yeah, and some of the nicest ones, I might add.
That's right.
Thank
And
you.
the best spots, too.
Let's first of all, thank you for being with us, Brad.
My pleasure.
Let's talk about East-West Billboards. First of all, tell us a little bit about East-West.
East-West Media was started by my father about 13 years ago. He's been in the business for roughly 46 years. He's got a lot of experience. It's a completely family-owned company, and with the exception of just several subcontractors and just a couple employees, we're predominantly ran by a family. I graduated Lee University a few years ago. My brother, Charlie Miser, also lives here in Cleveland, and he graduated from Lee as well. Kyle Sullivan graduated from Lee University, lives down here, and he's actually our sales manager in Cleveland. So we'll be giving you his information a little bit later. But we are I would say the area's, and I think I can say this now, the largest independent billboard company. You have a lot of larger companies that are nationally owned, Lamar Outdoor, Fairway, and we're going to be the largest independent owned company, probably between, we'll say, Lenore City and Chattanooga. So that's our territory. We do skip on over into Sevierville, but that's a little bit about East-West.
That's what I was going to ask you. What markets do you operate billboards in?
Cleveland, believe it or not, in 2011 became our largest market. It's our #1, and it's our gem, I guess you'd say. We were lucky and fortunate during the recession to be able to buy some assets from some other companies, and it made Cleveland a really great gem for us. We had several great billboards around Walmarts and at some high traffic areas, but when we were able to buy some other companies out, we were able to really put a nice package together. So Cleveland will be our #1 market. After Cleveland, we've just, I guess, recently became the #1 operator in Ottawa as well. You guys might have read some newspaper articles or saw us on, I think it was Channel 3 down in Chattanooga, but we've got some new stuff in Ottawa. We also have a good market share in Athens, and then Sweetwater, Lenoir City, Von Orr, and all the way up into Sevierville. But Cleveland is #1, and it's the market I'm probably most proud of.
Well, and they're not anywhere. It used to be billboards were just almost unaffordable to the smaller business. You always saw the larger businesses do that.
Yep.
But you guys have made it possible with that. It's really affordable for small businesses. And I know that I've noticed around town that you see those changing,
Yep.
and that you do all of that. And so how exactly does that work? I mean, how do you work that you get it? I mean, do you sign on for 30 days? Do you have a longer contract? How does a billboard work within?
We've got a little bit different system than most, I guess you'd say, billboard companies. It was an idea that we had rolled around for a long time, and we finally came to grips with this was the future, and this is what we wanted to do to innovate. But we put in a rotary program. Rotary program is where you don't just rent one billboard and stay on that board for the entire campaign. We're actually going to physically move your billboard every 90 days, so that over a 1-year contract, you're going to have 4 90-day periods and be able to be in a lot of different places in our Cleveland market. That way you're going to get a lot of different coverage in different parts of town. You're going to change, and people are not going to see the same thing when they drive by all the time. So that's our bread and butter in Cleveland. So for that reason, we like to do a 12-month agreement so that you get to try 4 different spots in that time frame. Most people stay on. I've got customers here that have been on for 7-8 years now, and they just continue to roll around in that rotation. They've been on every sign, and some even multiple times.
Well, do you have the capability to move the billboards into different markets, like Cleveland, Athens, Athens, Cleveland? How does that work?
Absolutely. That's been one of the coolest things, just to be honest with you, to be able to take we'll say a Cleveland regional advertiser and put their message up in Athens for 90 days, down in Ottawa for 90 days, back to Cleveland, and then maybe even back to Athens again. Some businesses even like to get further outside of that and go all the way up to Sweetwater, but the ability to do that and to not cost the advertiser anything else has been a great help, because most people, maybe they don't want a billboard in Ottawa for the entire year, but they would like to get down there for a particular part of their season, depending on if their business is seasonal or not. We're able to now accommodate that. We bought and designed our signs to all be the same exact size and take the same graphics, so that we've got that fluid motion, and we're able to move things from market to market, not just within Cleveland, but to different cities. So it works out really well.
What does it take for that? I mean, we've talked about it a little bit here and there, and of course we were talking about Joe having his face.
That's what I'm thinking, Brad.
He's wanting his face up there and
cartoon head.
Just my name and my face, and then when it switches, it's just the side, and then when it switches again, it's the back. Yeah.
But what does it take to do that? I mean, is it something that you guys do, that you come out and to their business and help them work up something, or is it something that they have to submit to you, or do you guys have it made? I don't know.
I would say it's probably a lot like you all, where most people don't carry around video cameras and audio equipment, and two, most business owners don't have a degree in marketing, and they know that this is a good form of advertising to use, but I don't know exactly what I want to do. So you all, I'm assuming you go out and you film the commercials and you bring them all back and you do the editing. It's much the same with what we do. I would brag about our company a little bit in that aspect. We've got a very good creative team, and we've got a very good operations team. My brother Charlie Miser is our operations manager, and he's the other my other family member that lives down here in Cleveland. But I'm very proud of him and the job that he does. But we try to take the concept of what the advertiser wants to do, and that's very important. A lot of times people just sell advertising and say, put something up here. In our case, I think we're a little bit different, because we want to invade your privacy just a little bit and ask you exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish, get to that with the advertisement, and make sure that we execute that with the artwork and get that up on the sign. We are full service, so when you sign on with us, we're going to help you in the idea generation. If we need to do the photography, we do that, and all of that is free. The only thing that the advertisers pay for is our cost to print that. We're going to put the signs up, we're going to move them, we're going to send them a photo by email every time that the sign moves. So they're going to be able to keep up with what they have with us without having to try or ask or call to do anything, and we're going to do everything from start to finish from the creative side.
And moving the billboards, most companies don't do that. Aside from that, what makes East West different than, say, Fairview or Fairway and the other one, Lamar?
If, for instance, if you used our competition and you rented a sign, you would probably do a contract and you would stay on
Right
that
there.
location, and that would be your spot. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Traditionally, and for 100 years, that's how billboards have operated. What we found was it's very beneficial to move every 90 days because there is a period of time where people can become bored with what's up there. Now, our signs do flip, and so that generally does keep your attention, but when you move the ads, and it's not just your ad, but a lot of different ads changing, then people drive down the street and they don't see the same thing all the time. They're going to see a lot of new things. We do our Rotary the first 10 days of March, June, September, December in all of our markets. So every time that happens, it's almost like fruit basket turnover, and so you should see everything change in Cleveland when it comes to those periods, our rotation periods.
Right, and then two, what I think is that we all have our certain routes that we take all the time. I mean, Joe and I live off of Keith Street across from Chick-fil-A, and so
I'm gonna toilet paper your house.
There you go. We're always up and down that
Wouldn't be
street.
the first time.
Right. But we're very seldom out on Georgetown Road. You know, I had an aunt that lived out there, you know, and I would see her, but very seldom are we further out Georgetown Road. But there's a whole nother community that lives out there that goes home and, you know, back and forth on that. So in order, I mean, that seems to me that not only just for the changing of, because sometimes when you pass something so many times you don't even see it anymore. It's kind of like the carpet in my house is really a mess, but I don't see it because it's been there forever. But, you know, you see it, but when you get that different, you get a whole different group of people that are seeing the signs, and that's what billboards are all about, is that those eyes, those thousands of people are going by it every day.
Where the magic really happens with that Rotary program, this was something that is almost an unintended consequence, and we didn't particularly see this coming, so I can't claim the brilliance for this. But
come on.
When somebody sees an ad, say out on Georgetown Road at the intersection of Villa Drive, and then 3 or 4 months later they see it up at the Crystals, and 3 or 4 months later they see it over at the Walmart, and then they see it at the other Walmart. Well, all of a sudden you've taken one ad and you've multiplied the impact of that, because now that same person that lives here or is just passing through, they think you have multiple billboards and you've only paid for one. So we're able to boost that image for less money and give somebody more than what it would take to have a large campaign with 5 or 6 billboards. People that stay with our company and advertise for a long period of time, the report we get back is people think we have billboards all over town. We don't. We've got 1 or 2 or 3. And they get those comments. Well, that in advertising, I think that's what we all want, is we want people to think we've got more than we actually have, and that we look bigger than we actually are. And that's, I would say, where we can specialize and help. And then 2, we can do some things to change artwork from time to time when we move those signs. So you could really have a very, very dynamic campaign with no work on your part. Tell me the direction you want to go in, we execute, take care of the whole program.
And I think the great thing about it is that it is very cost affordable. And I don't know, and you tell me this as we're talking here live now. I know you have a couple that are split billboards. Do you like doing that? Do you try to stay away from that? How does that work? Like, let's say 2 small businesses that are together.
It's tough with TriVisions to split like that. I encourage people to go ahead and do a full billboard, even if they need to wait a little bit longer to get started, so that we can develop a really strong advertising idea for them that they don't have to share, because you're competing with things that are going on while you're driving down the road already. So when your ad flips up, we want it to be your ad. In the case of, you know, say the billboard's right over top of a strip center, 2 businesses may share that and have the same directions, and that makes perfect sense, because now you're tying in to use both businesses for one purpose. But generally, it's not a great idea to split.
Too confusing.
Especially on one of those tri-vision to where, because you've got enough going on anyway. And I really like those. I really like those. And I'm one of those people that if the light changes and I haven't seen the rotation yet, and it's changed and it's not the same, that I'm like, people are honking by and I'm like, I'm going, just wait. It's got to change for me to see the third one on there. So I really like that look, and I like that idea of that, because I think it does cause the eye to even look even more when the change is happening. Even if you've seen it a million times.
That's right.
And you guys do have very prominent areas in Cleveland. You have the good spots.
That's been when I talked earlier about Cleveland being the gem of our plant. Dad had the foresight a long time ago, we'll say 15 years ago, to say we need to build a plant that's ready where we're just at red lights and we don't have a lot of out on the highway billboards or down some farm road locations, we need to go get premium. So that's what we've done over the past 12 years, is just went after premium everywhere we were. We pay more to get that. We feel like we've got a dominant presence here, and I'm very proud to say that. But we've got I think I would say we've probably got the best locations in town, and I don't want to say that in a bragging way, but we've worked very hard to get to that status, so that we can, when we rotate you around and you're in our Rotary program, you're not on a C billboard out in the country somewhere just because it was part of the program. You're on all A+ billboards, and I think that's what makes the program work so well.
Now, if somebody is watching right now that would like to get in touch with you, find out more about East West Billboards, give them a phone number, how they can get in touch with you.
Kyle Sullivan is our Cleveland sales manager, and I believe we're going to be able to get his number up on the screen.
I'm sure that Jennifer's got it up there.
Everything that Kyle does comes right back through my office. We probably duplicate a little bit too much, but you're not going to just get Kyle. You're going to get myself. You're going to get our creative team. You're going to get my younger brother, Charlie. Another thing that makes us different, billboards are mechanical, lights are mechanical. We have boots on the ground that live in every area that we have billboards, and we're able to fix those signs when they're down or get the lights back on when they're supposed to be back on a lot quicker than a lot of other companies. I've often said some of the other companies turn out to create great customers for us because of some things they may not be able to do because of their larger company structure. I have no problems with big business, but a lot of times they might move a little slower, and they turn people onto billboards, and then in their second campaign, maybe we're the company they choose, and they like what we do a little bit better, so we're able to keep that customer. So
wonderful. Well, Brad, I appreciate you coming by and talking. We're about out of time on this Wednesday
Jennifer's
morning.
come in and told us
Right,
bye-bye.
goodbye. So we're going to see you next time on Tennessee Valley This Morning. Again, we want to thank Brad Miser from East West for being with us, Ron Moore, and of course Kim Centers. We'll see you next Wednesday on Tennessee Valley This Morning. Have yourself a good day. Again,
Take your
thank
umbrella.
you so much. Take your umbrella because it's going to rain today. We'll see you all next Wednesday.